So we're going to teach them how to build a brick wall today, mate. Little brick wall. We're going to teach you lot how to build a brick wall because every kid wants to build a brick wall, surely.
Yeah, that's why they invented Lego.
Exactly that.
This is like proper Lego.
This is real life Lego. So you know when you get your Lego bricks, you put them together, don't you, Sam?
Yeah.
Like that. And then your mum and dad will teach you that if you keep going like that, what's going to happen to your wall, Sam?
It's just going to fall down. There's no support.
There's no support there, so the wall will just fall down. So the same as Lego, if you want to build a wall and you want it to have strength, you've got to stagger the bricks. So if you stagger the bricks like this, and you come over there, put one there, and again you stagger there, and then you go on top. We built ourselves a triangle wall, that's got strength. So now we're going to put the cement between it, and that's what holds it together.
Certainly is.
So if you ever built a wall using Lego, which every child has,
You always got a stack.
my Frank has got tons and tons of Lego, and I teach him all the time. So if that was going to be a return now, and you wanted to build yourself a wall, you'd put that brick there, and then you return it round, so you've got the strength in the corner.
But also, when you get, this is just a single skin wall that we're building. Usually, if it's like a double skin wall, you have your brickwork on your outer, your insulation here, and then a block wall here, and then to tie them together,
We use ties.
we use ties to tie them both together.
So we use like it's a metal wall tie, and you put it in like that, and then that's what bonds the two walls together, so it becomes strong.
And then you put your insulation in there to keep you warm and toasty at night.
But today, we're going to show you how to build a single skin brick wall. But as we're de-stacking, there's a way of stacking the bricks as well. So you can see them two bricks there now. Instead of going again on top, because what's going to happen is they're going to fall over, you stagger them alternatively. So now when you're loading your bricks up on a building site, you've got a nice strong pile, they won't get kicked over. So that's how you stack your bricks as well.
And they're easier to carry.
Hey?
Jenga style.
Jenga style, exactly, and then you can just poke one out. I wouldn't recommend it with them, no, because they're a bit heavy.
Yeah.
Right, so, first of all, we need to knock up some cement,
We do.
which is the glue, what glues the bricks together.
Yes.
So we're going to do that first of all, yeah?
Yeah, buddy.
So we're going to do that by using building sand.
This is just standard building sand.
So it's not stuff that you get down the beach.
No.
And it's not stuff that you really want to put your hands around either. It's not play sand.
It's not play sand. It's more gritty than play sand.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Juicens.
Yeah, thank you, Juicens Littlehampton, for giving us some sand.
Right, I think we've done a video previously as well. It's all about the mixed ratio.
Yeah, and you always got to wear your gloves when you're knocking up sand and cement.
So Sam has to remind me, you see.
Because we're so used to doing it without gloves on the building site.
We forget sometimes, but you should always wear gloves because the cement will eat into your fingers and it does hurt and it will itch.
And it's bad.
And it's bad for you. So what you've got to do, put your gloves on. You got your glove on, mate?
I've got my gloves on.
I've got my gloves on.
You've got the water.
These are what the tattoo boys use as well. None of the boys, when we're getting all our tattoos done, these are the gloves they use. So, you want a mix ratio. So when you're making cement to build a wall, you want a 4-in-1. You can go 5-in-1, depending on how strong you want the mix. But what that means is you want 4 to 5 parts. If you do a 5-in-1 mix, we'll do it with a trowel. So you want 5 equal amounts of sand. What's that, Sam? How many is that, mate?
That's your fifth.
No, that's the fourth.
Yeah,
And how many is that, Sam?
that's your fifth.
That's your fifth. So now we've got 5 equal amounts of sand, and then what we're going to do, we're going to get 1 equal amount of cement.
So basically, if you knock up one gauge, if you're building a big wall, for example, then we knock one gauge up to do half the wall. Then we know when we're knocking up the other half of for the other half of the wall, it's going to be the same colour as the first because we've used the 5 and the 1. So if it might be 5 shovelfuls of sand to 1 shovelful of cement, but we know the ratio so we can get the colour right.
Exactly that. So what you don't want to do is get halfway up and it'll be one colour grey, and then in the next half it's a different colour grey.
Yeah.
Because then when it dries, it'll look horrible.
And then you'll be like,
I'll put too much sand in or too much cement, because obviously the more cement you put in, the greyer it's going to be.
And the more sand you put in, the more
orange,
yellow.
Yeah.
Well,
orange, yellow. So look, what you want to do is you want to bind the sand and cement together so you get a consistency of a complete greyness.
Obviously,
that.
we're just doing this on a table on a building site. If you're knocking lots and lots up, then you do it with a cement mixer, which is like a big washing machine.
Yeah. So then what you do, you create yourself a well. If you're mixing up by hand, because not everyone's got a cement mixer. So what you could do, you could ask your mum and dad to go down the builder's shop, get some bricks, go and get yourself a little bit of sand and cement, and then go in the back garden and build them a garden wall.
Yeah.
Or you can build them a barbecue.
Yeah.
This is the same principle, you just got to work out what pattern you want to lay your bricks.
Yeah. Fire oven, like a pizza oven.
Pizza oven, you could do that, couldn't you? So now I'm putting that in there, so that creates a well. So now what's going to happen is the water's going to get absorbed by the sand and cement. Give it a couple of seconds and now turn it in. Make sure the water don't spread out and you mix that together. There you go, look at that. So now it's turning from exactly that, cake mix. It's turning from a dry mix now to a nice wet mix.
You don't want to make this too wet. That's why you little often with the water.
We've got enough water there.
Yeah.
That's a nice bit of water there, so you mix that together now. So we ain't got a lot there, so we might need to knock some more up, Sam, I think, mate.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be like for 2 bricks.
Yeah.
That's only going to be enough to stick 2 bricks together. So what you do, you start off, you want to stick your brick to the floor. So we're going to stick them to the table because we're going to remove them later on and pack away. But you imagine that was your ground at home.
Your concrete floor.
So we need to give you a base. So say that was your grass, you need to dig a hole in your grass first, then you need to fill it with concrete so it's solid. Yeah. And that's when you can lay your bricks on top. So imagine that was concrete now rather than wood. Yeah. You lay your bit of mortar there, sand and cement mortar. What do you call it, sand and cement or mortar?
Sand and cement.
Sand and cement. So we call it a sand and cement mix. Then what you do, you lay your brick down, ready to go. Bang. Using your level, you want to level it 2 ways. Crossways, it's nearly there, so that's telling me that that brick needs to be tapped down that way. To make that nice and level to the eye. And then you're also going to level it that way as well.
So it's not like that.
And that taps it forward, and that gives you a nice square brick. That's a good starting point. Get rid of your excess, go again. So now we're going to go over to the side. Make sure you've got enough cement. When you get to your next brick, just cut it back a little bit so that you can get close to it. And then what you want to do, you've got to stick that brick, this brick to this brick now. So you've got to butter up the side.
You squeeze that in there.
Squeeze that in there, not too much pressure because you don't want to disturb that brick too much. Now what you're going to do, use that brick as your guide and then come over. So that's a bit high. So you're going to tap that down there. Now that's nice and level.
So you're level all the way across both the bricks.
So now you're going to check that way as well. You're nice and level. And then what you do, you cut off that excess there. And when you're ready and that goes off, that's when you can point in the edges and to make it look nice and tidy. But as I said to you, we only knocked up enough for 2 bricks.
Yeah.
So shall we knock some more up? Fast forward it while we're knocking it up and then we'll show you and we'll build you a big wall. Yeah?
Going off means hardening.
Going off means hardening. Yes, that's correct.
Hardening.
So when I say when that's going to go off and that's going to set, that means the cement's going to go hard.
That will sit rock solid.
You won't be able to push that over.
Oh no, no chance.
No, you won't be able to push that over. No. But that takes around 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours for the sand and cement to go hard. Obviously, it doesn't go completely hard at that point. It needs to cure, and that takes days and days and days, depending on the weather. But if you want to build a little garden, a little wall in your garden, you could build a little wall. You can make it all look pretty, sit back in 6 hours' time and say, look, Mum, I built that. So we'll knock some more cement up, we'll fast forward it, and then we'll show you some more.
Right, so we've knocked another gauge up. A gauge is basically, when we say gauge, it's when you've done another, when you've knocked up another load of gear.
Another load of mix.
Yeah, another mix up. It's
so
called
when we
a gauge.
say gear, that's also mix as well.
Yeah.
I think we need to do a video with terminology,
Yeah.
Tom. So when we mean knock a load of gear up, that means like a mix. That could be plaster, it could be sand and cement,
Yeah.
tile adhesive, depending on what we're doing at that point in time, doesn't it? Yeah. Right, here we go. So you get your mix like that now, and you're going to lay it on top, right? You're going to push it in that frog, so that's called a frog inside the brick, and you want to fill that frog up completely with your mix.
Now, some people lay these, there's a
Frog side down.
frog side down or frog side up. There's loads of people with different ways, and it's literally just the way if you do it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they do say that you should lay it frog side up, but I've built an extension frog side down before, and the extension's been standing for 15 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
So it's sort of preference, I guess.
Can you alternate?
You shouldn't. No. You should. What you should do is either one or the other. Yeah.
Always keep it consistent.
But any bricklayer will say to you, frog side up. So what you're going to do now, Sam, I'm going to show you that. I'll take that off there so you can see. He's going to lay that staggered now, meaning half bond. So that brick's going to half sit on the other two to give it strength. Again, when I laid that mix there, I've got like a 10 mil mix. See the depth of that? It's about 10 mil. So the depth of that, from there to there, will be approximately the same as there to there, and so forth all the way along. So you get consistency in your joint thicknesses. So we're going to tap that down.
Give that a tap so the whole thing's level still.
Not too hard, because as you're building your wall up, if you're tapping that really hard, then you're moving the bottom course or the course below as well. Yeah. So you want to make sure that when you're evening out your cement, that you're getting nigh on there with it, so you haven't got to tap it around too much. So that's leaning forward now, so I'm going to tap it backwards. And what that's doing is allowing that to be level. So you also got a level here, where you put the level up the front, and that will show you level there. That's bang on level as well, because I've leveled it that way. But you always check that as well. So you don't want your wall to end up leaning outwards or even inwards. Yeah. You want your wall to end up nice and level all the way through. Have you got a pointing tool? Not got one? No. And what you could do as well, you can run your level there. You see that little gap in there? That's because them bricks need to be pushed out slightly like that. And that makes it nice and straight. And again, we'd carry on. So you want to carry that wall on there.
Obviously, you don't want to go there now.
No,
because there's no stability on the floor, on the ground.
So what you're going to do now, you're going to build one again. You can't go no further now. So that's your top brick, meaning you can't go up any higher until you go wider. Yeah. So what you're going to do, you're going to get your brick now again. Your brick goes on there. Make sure you've got enough underneath there, and you tap it down. But what you need to do is clean that off now, so you can get your level on. Because you're going to use that brick again to level that brick. So by eye, I can see that brick's too high. So I'm going to tap that brick down. And you're going to get your level on. Well too high. So now what you need to do is tap that down all the way. Nice and level. Tap that brick back.
You basically always got to make sure your levels are on point, because otherwise if you get halfway from building the wall and you've found that it's like that, the customer ain't going to be happy, neither is your mum, because they're going to have a bent wall.
Yeah.
And it might fall over.
I can see my sage and Frank going in the garden tonight, watching this video, going in the garden and building a brick wall. I've just added a little bit more water then, because I had the gear on top of the brick. The brick absorbs the water out of the cement, which allows the cement to go off. Yeah. So I'm just reworking it a little bit, just to soften it up, ready for my next brick.
So now we're going to go on top again.
This is a bit of a big trowel to be using for this.
Yeah, of course, but we could use a little one. Little one's there for you.
We'll use a little one, it's a bit easier to use on this little space.
We haven't got much room.
We're limited in space. We could have gone outside, but it's raining outside.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we've got this one.
So now we've got that brick.
But you've got to make sure you butter up the edge, you see.
Yeah. Just nice and buttered up there. And then that joints this brick to this brick.
And that's staggered again. Because that's already half staggered on the first two, putting that next to it means it's staggered on the next two, okay? Tap it down.
Make sure she's level.
Nice and level. Tap that down a little bit. Check your fronts are good. Check that you're level up that way as well, which we're not. It's got to go in. Take your excess off. You don't want to dig it out. Make sure you're not digging out, because when that goes off, you've got to point that up to make it look nice and neat and tidy. Yeah?
You've got to make sure, just try and keep as clean as you are, as clean as you can as well, because if you get into a bit of a ruck and you're really messy, you're just going to have an absolute nightmare.
And if you want a T-break, like all us builders do, you want to make sure that you're at a stopping point. So that's a stopping point now. If I clean that brick off, so all of the cement's clean from it, and I'm ready to go on my next one, same with that side, just cut it off neatly, dig that out there. That allows me to stop and have a cup of tea when I want, doesn't it, Sam?
It certainly does. Speaking of cup of teas.
Let me just lay one more. So we cut that off there, use that side of your trowel to cut that off. That allows me then to break that away. So we've got a very important pointing tool, which is a bit of a hose pipe. But they do actual tools for it. But if I go around there now, you stay there, Sam.
Yeah.
I'll go around this side. Realistically, you want to let that sit for a little bit before you point in, because you don't want to smudge the cement on the brick. But I'll be gentle just to show you guys what I'm doing. Move that there. So you take a little bit off the trowel and you're going to fill in the gaps. Any gaps that I've missed, this is the time that you fill them in now.
Because if you leave them gaps, then obviously water can penetrate through. How you getting on?
I'm getting on nice, looking nice, mate, looking nice.
Lovely. Looks like a wall now.
Right, give us that little trowel. Then wipe that off. Come through. Come through. Using your little trowel. Any little snots you got, you just scrape off. And what you could do as well, the bottom course, don't forget that bottom course. Sometimes in your garden that might be covered by a bit of mud. But if it's not and it's on a path, then you want to make sure you're rubbing your bottom course in as well. And there's how you build a small brick wall in your back garden.
Yeah.
Simple, isn't it?
And that is all it is, built on a bigger scale, and obviously, like we said before, with two skins. And that's how a house is built.
It's simple, isn't it? Building is very... Once you get the principle of laying your first brick, so as long as your base is level, because our base is level, we know that, so we can make sure we put the same amount of gear level, lay your first couple of bricks, that wall could be 10 times bigger. Yeah. Same principle. You start off, you build, you put that all the way along. Then you come up with your second course and your third course, because each one of them is classed as a course. Yeah. So that's a course of bricks. So you might need 10 courses of bricks. So therefore, if you needed 10 bricks and you wanted to go 5 high, because you wanted to make a wall, how many bricks would you need to build a garden wall in your house? Because this is what you've got to work out. Yeah. How many bricks do I need? So if you work out the size of a brick and you paste it, and you said, right, Mum, this one brick, I want to work out how many. You get your pencil, always got one behind the ear. You lay your pencil there, that's your neighbour's wall, and you mark it. You go 1 brick. You mark it, you go 2 bricks, 3 bricks, and you work out you need 10 bricks, and you want your wall to be this high. You work out how high you want your brick. 1 brick, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You need 50 bricks.
10 times 5 equals 50. And that's where the maths comes in with building. You've got to learn maths at school to become a builder. If you don't learn maths at school, then you won't be a good builder. No. So make sure you pay attention to maths and English.
In school.
And that is how you build a garden wall for your mum. So get out, ask your mum and dad for some bricks and sand and cement, and get out and build them a garden wall. I've been Brad.
And I've been Sam.
And we've been the Ball Builders.